Once you have found your vertex and whether it is a maximum or a minimum, then you can use that information to help you find the domain and the range. All right, so if you consider some generic quadratic equation that has a vertex hk, which I have pictures of in the lower right, the domain is going to be all the reals. That parabola will continue to get wider and wider and wider, so the x values will eventually cover all of the real numbers. So your domain of every parabola will always be negative infinity to infinity. The range, however, will depend on whether you have a minimum or a maximum value with your vertex. So if the vertex is a maximum value, like it is in the purple, then your range will be negative infinity up to k. So you'll start at the bottom and you'll go up the graph until you get to that k value. That k value is included, so it will have a square bracket. If the vertex is a minimum value, like it is in the green, then the vertex hk will be your minimum, and your range will start at k and then go up to positive infinity. So please note k is included because it is an actual point on the graph. All right, so if we go back to our examples that we did in the last video where we talked about finding maximums and minimums, we have this equation, this function f of x equals 4x squared minus 16x plus 1,000. Okay, in the last video, we found that the vertex for this was, so in the last video, we found the vertex was 2, 984. So because our a value is positive, that means we know that we had a minimum, right? Because our parabola would be an upside down u and the vertex would be down here. So that's going to be a minimum value. So when they ask you to find the domain is going to be all the reals, as it is for every quadratic function. And the range, because we have a minimum, will start at that k value. So remember, this is your h, this is your k. So you're going to start at that k value of 984. Notice it is included because that point does exist. And then it's going to go up. So up to positive infinity. So there is your domain and your range for that function. All right, another example, exactly the same. If you'd like to try it, go right ahead. All right, we did, I don't think we did this example in the last video, so we should actually go through this. We did not. Okay, so first thing you will need to do is you will need to find that vertex. So you would use your x equals negative b over 2a. You would find that value, which turns out to be negative 4. And then you would plug that into your function, and when you do that, you will find the value is negative 96. So the vertex on this one is going to be negative 4, 96. Okay, our a value is less than 0, which means it is opening downward. So this time our vertex was the maximum for this problem. So that means our domain will be all the reals, and the range will start at negative infinity and it will stop at the k value, which in this case is 96. And that is included because that point does exist. The vertex does exist. So practice a couple of these. And then we're going to put in our next video, we're going to kind of put this all together and we're going to graph these quadratic functions from beginning to end. So make sure you come back for that when we put all this information together.